What's up, everybody? It's your girl Britt, and I am back with another video. I am so excited because I have Miss Shanita Palmer. Woo! This is my homegirl from back from high school. Well, we knew each other in high school, but we actually became friends in college. That's how it happens. We became roommates, and she is one of my best friends, and I just love her dearly. I'm so excited about her life, the things that she's doing right now. She is an attorney. You are an attorney officially, right?
Yes. I am
I gotta make sure because I know it was a switch. JD to Esquire. Because so you're an attorney. She is an attorney, okay. But Shanita is also very financially savvy. Am I saying that right? Financially savvy. Yeah. All right. There it is. Look at me. All right. And she's just one of those people who, back in college, she was talking about saving and credit and different things like that, and I was just like, "Yeah, girl, okay, all right, yeah." And it's because my parents, my dad is really big on those things too. So him and Shanita will always have those type of conversations, and I'm just in the car like, "Yup, nice conversation." But now as an adult, it's definitely I think not only for myself but people in our age group, we're definitely looking more into our finances, and especially with the way stuff is being set up, we should definitely take heed to really paying attention to everything dealing with money and just setting ourselves up for success and just having funds for our legacies down the line. So yeah. So Shanita, I know that was a nice little spiel I just did. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just get right into it.
Brittany, I think you did a pretty good job. Look,
that was a nice one. I was going. Okay.
That was good.
Anything you would like to add, or should we just get right into the interview?
No, I think we can go right into it.
All right. Cool. So, Shanita, tell us, why are you so passionate about generational wealth?
So for me, it is going to be because I don't want my children or my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren to live life like I had to live. So pretty much growing up in a household where there was always lack, just enough, or sometimes, just not even enough. Mm-hmm. And then you have a mom who's also working 2 to 3 jobs, and it's still not enough. And so we're missing that time to build that mother-daughter relationship because she's always absent. And then when she is home, she's tired because it's like, I got to get up and go to the next job just to make ends meet and take care of her. And I'm like, I'm really thankful for that. But it's just like, I want to be there for my children. I don't want that life. And also to just think about how I graduated law school, trying to find a job, got a job and lost a job. And it's like, when I'm in that time period, I don't want my children when my children are like 24 and 25, right. I don't want them out or on their last trying to figure out how do I make ends meet, but I want it to be so they're growing up in a house where mom is talking about entrepreneurship. Mom showed us how to create a business. Mom set up investments for us. So now when we're in college, we have income coming in, multiple streams of income. So we don't have to, settle for jobs or whatever we don't want just to make ends meet. Like, I'm sick of ends meeting. I want more, and I want my children to experience more. And then lastly, I realized that there is a gap between Blacks and wealth, and it becomes in that generational brokenness of the mindset. It comes from lack of knowledge and lack of resources. And so I just want to be that person to be like, you can obtain it. It's here for all of us, and I want to help bridge that gap. So.
Nice. And you're so correct. It is a gap between the Black community and financial wealth. And I'm just so happy that I've been surrounded by people who have these topics. And I'm just glad I'm getting to the mindset now of really paying attention more and being more conscious about it. So yes, this conversation is definitely needed. Okay, so when did you realize this was a topic needed and you could help others gain wealth or get to a better place financially?
Right. So I think I pretty much realized it very early on, in my household. But I think for the most part, I thought it was only relevant in my household that we were the only one with a lack. We were the only one suffering because everyone else just seemed to be doing okay. And then I realized, no, it's also in my community. Then as I went to college and law school, I'm like, this is pervasive throughout the country, throughout the world. This is everywhere. And so it was just in casual conversation, kind of just listening to people who are older than me, younger than me, who has no idea of how to build credit, who's just living paycheck to paycheck and thinking that's the norm and have no idea about building wealth. And so I've pretty much been, since I was maybe 13 or 14, just always saving. And then, so up until when I was 17, I was in college. So I was pretty much like on my own, taking on all my bills. And then it was once I got to law school and graduated and lost this job where I kind of pretty much hit rock bottom. And now I'm in the rebuilding phase. It was one of those things like, if I had my finances together, now I can rebuild it from nothing because I was strategically managing what I was doing with the little income I was bringing in, whether that was setting up payment plans or utilizing my credit cards to a point where I can use this much and pay it off and never, carrying a balance or my credit score never dropping. It's like, if I can do that with absolutely nothing and hitting rock bottom and living on someone's couch and doing this and that, then I can teach other people how to do it as well. So that's when I got the most passionate about it, because I've always been, like you said, pretty big on financial management, but it was a thing like I got it under control. It's not a problem. I got it. And it wasn't until it's like rock bottom came and now I'm rebuilding. It's like, well, somebody else can do this. Somebody else can learn from my journey as well.
All right. And I think once we hear stories from people who look like us, number one, who are around our age group, that's when we can see like, okay, it's doable. She did it. He did it. We can all do it. I think the thing now that I love about our generation is that we are so transparent and we can be that way through social media. So having these topics and sharing your story through social media and all that great stuff, I just think is amazing.
Yeah, and I just think that's like a great way to connect, because a lot of people see them, oh, you're an attorney, you're making all this money, you must be good. And then it's like, that's not the story. That's not
right. And I think when people actually know the story, they will realize like, wow, I can come out of my situation no matter what it is. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So number 3, what are some tips you recommend for healthier money management?
This first one, I think some people are going to be like, but I'm going to say it anyway. Pay your tithes. I think 10%? That's one of the greatest investments, and I always see a difference when I do. Trust me, I've not always been consistent. It's hard. The more money you make, the harder it gets, but I've always seen a difference when I pay my tithes when I don't. So that's just a little spiel. They say no Jesus preaching, but that's that. The other thing I'm going to say is insurance, having insurance, because when you do have that emergency and if you have to go into your savings that you was just saving for general life, and it's like, what are you going to live on if you have to use all your savings for an emergency? So sometimes having the insurance in place, and I know it sucks because like when you have it, you never need it. And as soon as you don't have it, you always need it. I know how that feels. Also budgeting. People hate that word, and I used to hate it too. But budgeting does not mean that you can never have anything. And I think a lot of people think when I hear budget, it's cut out everything and never have it. But it may be cut out something for a small amount of time and just reallocate your money. You pretty much tell your money where to go, and you plan for things versus you just cutting out and can never have it. Saving. Like you just can't spend everything and think you're ever going to make more money or have enough. So saving, I always say, a lot of people always ask, when should I start investing? And they always say as early, as soon as possible, but it's like realistically, when should I start investing? And I always say it's after you have two types of accounts. You have an emergency saving fund, which is your 3 to 6 months of living expenses. I always say 6 months or more. And then you have a general savings funds, which is where a portion of every year check just goes in there every month just to cover whatever expenses may arise, so you don't always have to run to the emergency fund. So that the 5th way is looking for additional streams of income. That's just gonna help with you managing money, because sometimes our one job is just enough to pay bills.
Yes.
Responsibly utilizing credit cards is a way to get free money back, cash back, or free clothing, depending on what type of credit cards you have. So using those. Coupons and cashback apps for cashback extension browser extensions. So like Honey, Ebates, Ibotta, things like that. It's just an easy way to get cash.
There's another one called Dosh.
Dosh?
DOSH. Yep. I've had it for a while now. I actually saw someone post it on Facebook probably around Christmas time. And what happens is if you go to like your favorite stores, if they're on that app, you get money back. Like today, I did brunch with one of my friends, and when the waiter swiped my card, the pop-up came up and was like, oh, you just earned $3.68. And I was just like, oh, they're connected with Dosh. And there's a local restaurant around here that I go to. It's a vegan spot. And every time I go, I get money back. So, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Good to know. I'll be downloading.
Yes.
Yes. That one. Also, another tip is to try to get an understanding around taxes. This is something I'm still working on, so reaching out to CPAs or whatever. But the goal is to protect your money from being taxed. So you want to think about what things are eligible to be written off and certain things of that nature. So definitely just trying to get a hang of that. And then the last one I have is to talk to your creditors. Do not go in hiding when you have people who are trying to get money from you, because that's when they end up sending to a bad collection agency, and then it ends up going on your credit. And a lot of people, if you would just reach out and tell them your situation, they'll work with you because they'd rather get some money than no money. And I know this personally because when I was without a job, I had to set up my first payment arrangements, and it was just like, this was simple. I didn't know this was possible. Like, they're no longer harassing me. It's in good standing. They're not sending it anywhere. So just talk to your creditors if you have any kind of debt or anything that's outstanding that you can't pay. Then they'll work with you. Oh, that's the last tip I have.
Okay. All right. Great tips. Great tips. All right. So who are some people that you listen to, like podcasts, and when you follow on Instagram, that are people that you really, I guess, trust in a sense, and that you think are great financial advisors?
Yeah. So the first one I'm going to say, I think this is the first guy I started out with, is Mr. J. Morrison.
He's awesome.
Real estate. You can find him on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere. He's based in Atlanta. I think that's the J. Morrison Academy.
Yep.
Amazing. My Fab Finance, you can find her on Instagram. She's also big on just financial literacy and educating you financially. The Key Resource, she's really big on real estate investing, but in order to start anything, you got to start with managing your money. So she gives really good tips. And if you're ever thinking about investing in property, she was a really great resource and a guide, and I bought some things from her personally, so I know. She's an Aggie, but whatever.
You know. We love them all. We love them all. Never mind. I'm not even going to talk about that situation. Go ahead.
When I reached out to her, that was the first thing she said. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry you went to institute." Okay. But Tiffany Brown, she's also known as the Budgetnista. She provides really great tips. I think I follow her on Instagram. I think she has a podcast that just recently launched. Or I think it's been a while. I'm just finding it now.
Okay.
Loan Doctor and Luxurious Credit on Instagram. Those
you said who?
Luxurious Credit.
Okay. Okay, yeah, she's located in Philly.
Yeah.
Loan Doctor, yep.
As far as podcasts, I will say Journey to Launch. I think you can also follow her at Journey to Launch on Instagram as well. But her podcast is really great for managing your finances and learning how to build wealth. Bigger Pockets podcast, also really good they also have really great tips, but they're really big on real estate investing. And these are two podcasts that are not necessarily money management, but if you want to think about increasing your income and creating another stream of income, and you may want to start, doing some entrepreneurial things, Side Hustle Pro and How I Built This with Guy Raz are two of my other podcasts I listen to religiously.
What was the last one?
How I Built This with Guy Raz. And it's usually just people who have built successful companies, or they built some that failed, and they just come on and he just interview them about how they got started and how it took off and what happened. Really cool.
Nice. That's pretty dope. I think those are some great recommendations for sure. And I'll just make sure I leave them in the description box for people so they can go right to those people. Yeah. All right. So do you recommend any great books, any great management books? Yeah.
Any great books. So I haven't read a lot of financial books, but the ones I do, I seek for those that are going to be very, very simple, that are really going to explain, that are going to be very practical as well. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is everyone's go-to, and I think it's for a great reason, because it's a very simple and straightforward read and easy to understand. The Millionaire Mind by Thomas Stanley. On My Own 2 Feet by Sharon Ketter, and Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. I read it a while back. I don't subscribe to Dave Ramsey's no credit card use all the time, but if you have credit card debt, I would suggest you follow his thing to get out of credit card debt, and then you learn how to use credit cards responsibly. But he is no credit cards, and I'm like, no, not all the way.
I'm taking his course now, and I thought it was very interesting, but I saw where it is doable. Like you can manage without it. But I guess I don't know. I guess if you're just starting out trying to build credit though, like something has to happen. Where you maybe
I think that's really great for people who are already in debt and you need to get out, because you need to stop using your credit card because your balance is only going up. But if you're just starting out and you don't have any credit card debt, learning how to use a credit card responsibly is a great way to build credit. And then, as I always talk about, free free flights, free clothes, cash back. It's just the way time is now changing. I think credit cards they're really valuable if you use it responsibly.
Right. Okay. Were those the only recommendations?
Yeah, I think. Well, and this is not a book, but it's a game, and I think it's by Robert Kiyosaki as well.
It's called who?
It's called Cash Flow. I think it's an extension of the Rich Dad Poor Dad thing. I'm not really sure. It's called Cash Flow, and it's like the adult version of Monopoly, which teaches you how to invest, buy stock, buy property. It teaches you about doing an income statement, a balance sheet, and just managing your money. And it is an amazing game. So
okay, I'll have to check that out. Cash Flow. All right. So the next one is credit isn't a subject mentioned too often in schools or homes. How did you get a grip on your credit, and what advice do you give to people learning to build credit?
So, how I started with my credit, I think it was the first times I think I really came in contact with thinking about it was when I went to get a car. I needed a cosigner. We went to get our apartment. We needed a cosigner. And then, but I started to think, okay, well, now I have bills. I have a rent. I have utility bills in my name. So, of course, I'm building my credit. So I didn't pay attention to it. But then I went to go try to trade my car in. And the guy said, you don't have any credit. You need a cosigner. So I went to ask my mom to cosign for me, but she couldn't because she was also looking for a car. So I'm sitting there like, housing and cars, these are basic necessities. And if you don't have a cosigner, what do? Are you just denied basic necessities because you can't get someone else to cosign for you? So that's when I went and pulled my credit just to see what was up there and realized that at that point, the only things that were being reported were my student loans and that my car payment was only being reported on one credit bureau. So if whoever I was going to seek a loan was not pulling from that credit bureau, they wasn't even seeing that I was having that good line of credit history established. So after that, I went to get a credit card and I just used it for gas. And that started to show that, hey, I'm a frugal spender. I pay my bills on time, and it started to establish some credit, and I started to build my credit that way. So that's how I got started. For tips, I would suggest download Credit Karma and see where you are. If you have no idea what your credit score is, you want to see where you are. Once you know where you are, you're going to take some other routes. You can either, if you can't get anything on your own, you might ask someone who you trust to make you an authorized user on their credit card so you can benefit from their great behavior, from their great habits. Or you may consider going get a credit card for yourself and doing like I was doing, use it for only gas and paying it off on time. Or you may consider getting a charge card if you're not able to get a credit card. And the difference between a charge card and a credit card is you can't carry a balance monthly. You have to pay it up front. Or you may think about getting a secured loan, which is you pretty much provide collateral for the loan, and then it comes at a low interest rate and you just pay the loan over time, and then it'll boost your credit as well. So those are the things I have for credit. Also, pull your credit report and see if there's anything negative or wrong, inaccurate on your credit report, and correct that. Those are tips.
Okay, perfect tips. All right, so what's your take on investments and how should people get started?
Investing, if you ever plan to build wealth, you're going to have to invest because you cannot save your way to wealth. And despite, I don't know how many income streams you're going to have, but that passive income, that's also an income stream. So you would love to have that. I would say to get started, that really depends on you assessing your risk tolerance and figuring out what you can and what you can't do. That also requires you to assess your financial situation. Like I said, you don't want to be out here investing money that you need. So you always want to make sure you have an emergency savings fund. You want to have a savings fund. You want to have some living expenses. You want to have some living money to live on. And then I'm personally really big on real estate investing, and that's my goal. I do want to get in stocks and bonds at some point, but that's not my immediate goal. My immediate goal is rental properties. So that's right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing out here right now. I know you and I spoke about her before, but Lauren Lyrics on Instagram, like, I think she's a great go-to person for people our age to really look to in terms of like real estate and trying to learn it all. But you know, I'm ready to see you out there doing the same thing. So
I'm ready to be out there. I am ready. So.
Yes. So do you have any last tips you want to give us? Like anything in your mind that you kind of want to get off? So
anything that I really want to give off, I don't think for the most part. I just want to say that I'm noticing that there are a lot of Blacks starting to have this conversation and talk about building wealth and financial literacy and just managing your money. And that just in itself just makes me so happy, because growing up, I never heard about that. I knew nothing about that. That wasn't in school. That wasn't in your household. So it's like I knew nothing. But it's like these are the tools I need for life, but I'm not prepared. And so now to just see that being the topic of, you know, most conversations, it just warms my heart. And I'm just like, be intentional about it.
Yes. Definitely be intentional all year round, okay? About everything that you're doing this year, okay? That is the slogan for the year. All right, so any projects you're working on, like anything we need to know so we can follow you on Instagram and your other social media platforms?
If you need to reach me, you can find me on Twitter at MeetupE6. You can find me on Instagram at Miss S. Palmer. And I am working on something which I will not disclose too much of right now, but it will be a platform where you can follow along with my journey to building wealth, and hopefully, you will be able to learn some things and put it in use.
No, hopefully we will. We will definitely. Yes, I'm excited. I'm so excited. All right, so in the meantime, so just get in touch with you through Twitter, Instagram, email address.
Yes, you can also email me Shanita Palm, PALM @gmail.com.
All right, perfect. All right, well, I think this was a great conversation. Can't wait to have more conversations with you. And I'm so excited for everything that you're doing. And I just know that people took information away from this video tonight. So I'm so excited. And that's all I have tonight.
Well, Cherry, thank you for having me.
Yes. For sure. All right, guys. Have a good one. Yes. Let's see. Now, how you stop this thing?